The Kiss Allen Experience, step up to leadership. And now, here's your host, Kiss Allen.
I've dreamed many dreams, and no answers came, even though I waited patiently and long. But I realized enough of my dreams to make me want to pray on. I prayed many prayers, and no answers came, even though I waited patiently and long. But God answered enough of my prayers to make me want to pray on. I've sipped the cup of disappointment and pain and went many days without a song, but I smelled enough of the roses of life to make me want to live on. What's going on, people? Kiss Allen, the Kiss Allen Experience, step up to leadership. Welcome to the platform. Today, it's all about the journey, the leadership journey, my leadership journey, and my addiction to failure. There is power in failure, I will tell you. There's power in failure. And I can remember the 5th grade when I first experienced hardcore failure. I was attending a school in my local city, Chicago, Illinois, and I had a teacher. Her name was Miss Penny. The fall of 77, I had a teacher, her name was Miss Penny. And she would berate me. She did not understand differentiated learning. I was a kinesthetic learner, for those of you all who are familiar with that. I was hands-on. I was an active kid, and she didn't understand. So she would have me stand in corners, and she would have me stay on the 3rd floor while my classmates were outside. And they would continue, her and the principal would continue to have my mom come up to the school and just continue. What's wrong with this? My mother would always say, there's nothing wrong with this child. He's perfectly fine. He's actually a witty little kid. But they didn't see it that way. So over time, my mom began to work with me on how to deal with Miss Penny and some of the other authority in and throughout the school. So if you can imagine, I stand 6'5" tall, and I think I've been that size since the 4th, 5th grade. Big old afro, crusty lips. She just didn't know. And so there was a Friday, and we were in the classroom, typical Friday afternoon, and the class was in an uproar. And I was not unlike any of the other kids and moving around and having fun, but Miss Penny chose to berate me. But I will tell you, over time, my mom got me ready. And this is when I first began to really understand the power of failure. Because at that point, I felt like I couldn't do anything right. So in that moment, Miss Penny came over to me, and I stood there because Mama had me ready. And she said, sit down, you go sit down, you go over there by that piano and sit down. And I stood tall and strong. And the class got definitely silent, because that was my first time really ever standing up to Miss Penny. Mama had me ready. And I told Miss Penny, you have philosophically dehumanized me to the extent where I may not be able to adequately function as an adult. And if you do not refrain from treating me in such a manner, I will have no other choice but to take you to the U.S. District Court and charge you with a philosophical tornamental injury. I got brave, y'all, because if insensitive people like you and teachers like you continue to brutalize potentially young, brilliant individuals like myself, you'll ruin my life's chances. And I step back, right? And I still get these goosebumps, and I step back. Because that was when teachers could go upside your head. But the interesting part, guys, is Miss Penny stepped back in the other direction. And it was at that moment that I realized the power of words and context and believing in yourself and believing in the moment. They say it takes 20 seconds of insane courage and it'll change everything, in a positive manner, of course. And it was in that moment, the 5th grade, Chicago, Illinois, beautiful community, beautiful school, that I learned that the power of failure, if you stood in it and was able to take the feedback and take the bumps and blows, that you could grow. I ran that school after that. My mom transferred me out, but I was able to get a ton accomplished. I share that story because I'm sure that there are many of you who have been in like situations, who have found yourself feeling like you're failing. But I will tell you, you are right on the cusp of a powerful transformation in your life. I happened to realize that in the 5th grade. I began to believe in myself. I began to take chances, positive, quality chances, early on in life. I said that if I work hard, believe in myself, and prepare for all situations, that I will be okay. Now I need you to understand, I'm telling you the cold hard truth. I realized this in the 5th grade. I then took on the neighborhood storyteller. I could tell a story, I could watch somebody in the neighborhood, and I know many of y'all can relate to it. I can watch something and I could tell the story back to my friends until they just in the corner rolling, dying. I had courage to mimic and emulate the neighborhood hero or the candy store lady. There were twists and turns that were incredible in my life. I said that I would go on and I'm going to earn a PhD in leadership. Now think about that. I don't come from a family of educators. I come from a community that cuffed me and made sure that I didn't go around this corner. I kept that way. I came from a community that was poor in structure, but rich in love and direction. I came from a community that strategically fought for what they knew was right. I came from a community where failure, I don't care if your shoes had holes in them, if you had roaches. Yeah, I said roaches. 2021, we had roaches. If you had generic canned goods, I know some of you all can relate to that. That was when you went in the store in the one aisle, everything in the aisle was black and white packaging. And when I tell you everything, your rice had black and white packaging, your corn had black and white packaging. It just said corn. Your bag of cereal, I know cereal come in box, your bag of cereal, it just had cereal. You didn't even know what kind it was. But we were rich in conversation, we were rich in laughter, and we were rich in love. And I will tell you that seeded into me, and that inspired me and encouraged me to always get out front. No matter how it looks, be willing to get out in front. Now, through this platform, we'll talk about a number of ways that leadership has worked for me and how we can inspire one another for leadership to work for us all. As I mentioned, I got my PhD in leadership early. I got my patience, hunger, and desire as I move through my early teens up and through my college days. I got my patience because in my mind and in my eyes, in the way that I was taught, leadership was about listening. And in most cases early on, leadership was about following and having the courage to follow. It was about hunger, being prepared, getting there early and staying late. And it was a desire. It ain't always gonna look the prettiest. It ain't always gonna feel the prettiest, right? We talk about success. Success has a key ingredient. There's a look, a feel, and a sound to success. And when we talk about your desire to lead, you got to be willing to jump in and do the things that aren't, for lack of better words, so sexy. It's interesting. I moved to a point where I began to listen to speakers talk about leadership and embody leadership. And Simon Sinek is one of my favorite people to listen to when it comes to just breaking it down and putting it in layman terms where we can really understand it. He talks about the what, the how, and the why. Your what, your how, and your why. And he says that so often we're able to explain our what we do. We can explain our what we do. If we're studied and we're engaged, we can always explain our what we do. We really get into how we do it because we've practiced and we've studied. So we can explain how we do it. But rarely he talks about, rarely do we talk about our why we do things. And what I realize over time is that people are not as interested in what we do as they are in why we do it. And I notice those that follow and those that get behind me, our whys are intertwined. Why we do things are common. And that leads to the patience, hunger, and desire to lead. I find that extremely interesting. As mentioned earlier, my journey is not unlike any others. I still struggle with my faith from time to time. I still question some of the decisions I make. But what you'll see on this platform is some humility, is some question asking as we go on this journey together. The Casalin Experience, Step Up to Leadership. I often put myself, I think about Vince Carter, and I think it was 2000, 2001 when Vince Carter got, and excuse me, basketball fans, if I said the wrong year. I do remember though. He came in this dunk contest and everybody was excited. He was the head-on front runner. And Vince Carter came into this dunk contest. And if I didn't know no better, I think he had 4 dunks. In his mind, no, he didn't practice, but he had 4 dunks. He wasn't worried about what other people were doing. He wasn't worried about the crowd. Vince Carter had 4 dunks. And he commenced to doing those 4 dunks in a way that it didn't matter what nobody else thought. It didn't matter what nobody else said. He knew he was the man. He did his 4 dunks. He wasn't looking for affirmation. He just confirmed that he was the coldest, right? He wasn't looking for oohs and ahs. Look, as leaders, as people, sometimes we look for affirmation. We look for head nods. We look for people like, yeah, you did that. You cold. No, when you was in that Vince Carter mode, that was confirmation that I am the coldest. I know I am. I appreciate the love, but don't really need that for me to be activated. And I found that to be a profound moment. I embodied that spirit. Because as we go through and we're in this social media world and so many likes and confirmations and hearts on your pictures and things like that, we have to be so studied and so locked in that affirmation, albeit cool, is not what we need to drive us. And I often go to my Vince Carter moments to have a clear understanding that as long as you keep your faith and you work really hard, right? You outwork people, and more importantly, you prepare. Because I'm a firm believer that preparation takes away any fear that you may have. Practice and preparation. Then you're not looking for you're not looking for affirmation. You're just able to confirm that what you've done, what you've studied, is the work that needs to be done. As mentioned, I struggle with this. I want you to understand that there are times, right, that I struggle, and I don't want to. I created this platform because I don't want to go on this journey alone. I want you to come along with me. Engage, listen. We'll have some platforms where we can interact. There'll be some cool giveaways. But this journey, Step Up to Leadership, is geared towards current leaders, leaders who aspire, student leaders, young leaders. Proud father of a set of 22-year-old twins. And the thing I'm most proud about is that what I just talked about. Very little affirmation do they need. Don't get me wrong, they're kids and they love and they need to be loved on, but they understand the difference between needing it and just outworking people and understanding that the results they're going to get are going to be based on the work that they put in. Go on this journey with me. The Kisalin Experience, Step Up to Leadership. We'll cover topics around the courage to lead. We'll talk about take off your clothes. Yeah, take off your clothes. Take off your biases. We'll talk about let go my ego. Leadership has no ego or very limited ego. Just to cover a few, we'll hit kissisms, things that I strongly believe in, things that I know that I believe in that drive me and inspire me. And hopefully it'll inspire you as well. I share my journey because currently I'm the director of enrollment management here in the city of Chicago at one of the 7 city colleges, Truman College. I also serve as the head women's basketball coach. And so that keeps me in front of students, and particularly that keeps me in front of young female students where leadership is king, especially from a male perspective. Being an active listener, being a willing participant to not only encourage, but make sure you keeping it 100. Like how y'all say it the long way. Stay lit. Don't get me started. Because they know the situation. Yeah, I got all the lingo. Come on, go on this journey with me. Currently in my last semester of a master's program, organizational leadership, extremely proud of that. But like I said, this journey is going to be unlike any other because we'll be candid. And we'll ask that you share out so that others can hear and we can empower them through our failure, through our winnings, through our love, etc. I am going to challenge you on this platform. I'm going to challenge you to have the courage to lead someone, to lead yourself, and to see and aspire for that ultimate day where, as what my man say, Frankie Beverly, that golden time of day, that golden time. I would tell you, anybody who understands that song, if you can get to the golden time of day in leadership, I encourage you to do that. I want to thank you all. This platform, we're going to continue to build on this platform. And as I mentioned earlier, I've dreamed many dreams and no answers came true, even though I waited patiently and long. But I realized enough of my dreams to make me want to pray on. I prayed many prayers and no answers came, even though I waited patient and long. But God answered enough of my prayers to make me want to pray on. I've sipped the cup of disappointment and pain and went many days without a song, but I smelled enough of the roses of life to make me want to live on. The Kisalin Experience, Step Up to Leadership. We're going to tap into your inner greatness. We want to thank you today. This is our first episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Many, 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 many more to come. Thank you so much. And always imparting. Laugh, love, and live your life. Thank you. The Kisalin Experience. Follow us on all social media platforms. Facebook, Kisalin Glover. IG is _ the Kisalin Experience. All one word, _ the Kisalin Experience. Twitter, Kisalin Glover. Follow us for all updates, incredible interviews with some of the top leaders in and throughout the country. It's going to be a cool platform. Thank you very much.